Hey everyone, today is October 1st, 2025, and we took this road yesterday afternoon when we drove into New Hampshire to do the kayaking camping video, and I purposely waited to return today after 5 p.m. so hopefully the workers aren't here. We had to wait quite a while when they were doing flagging, but now we got the perfect sun angle. Let me show you around. And for October 1st, wow, there is no leaves on the trees. Usually there'd be beautiful fall foliage in the middle of October in this area, but it looks like winter already. All right, you see this brand new pavement? They moved the road because the road started slipping into the river. To my right, down there, that is where the road used to be. That's the old road grade. It was right up against the river. Now they moved it over here about 50 feet and they raised it up. They used a lot of gravel and drainable fill, so hopefully it won't have any frost heaving. Look at that. Over on the right side, you still see the pavement from the old road. The old road is still there. They haven't torn it up yet. Now we're almost 100 feet away from it. Brand new culverts. They added a good amount of elevation here. Another brand new culvert. And notice on the right side of the road where that machine is parked, the road used to go down there. Used to follow the river. Now they cut the woods down, they moved the power poles. Now the road continues straight. That unnecessary loop right there is no longer in the road. So what do you think? Are they going to leave the pavement there? Are they going to leave that as a dead section of road for fishermen to use? They might. So, back in the day, they didn't have as big of machines. There also wasn't a lot of traffic back in the day compared to these days. And this right here is where the road came out. They have blocked off half of it with the guardrail. And here we go to older pavement. They paved this a couple years back. A couple years back, you could see them starting to flag that and cut down the woods. That's a couple years in the making. This area here is pretty close to the river, but they did not move this. So originally, back in the day, there was a lot of hills on roads. There was also a lot of curves going around mountains and stuff. These days, they're more likely to rip down a mountain. They will blast it out of the way, make the road straight. Everything they blasted, they will use to fill in a valley so there's no hills going up and down. These days, they make roads straighter. They abandon curves and sections. Sometimes they'll rip up the pavement and just let it grow back into part of the forest. Sometimes they abandon the pavement out there and they just leave it as a connected offshoot that you can use for parking. You're going to see a couple examples as we continue down this road. There's some areas they left paved that they cut out years ago. They just left them there. And I really like to look at the satellite maps as I'm driving around. You'll see lots of areas like this. This is just a good example of it. Especially the Trans-Canada Highway. It has so many cut-offs from when they built it. It was a very primitive, pioneered road. And as the years go on, they abandon sections to make it straighter and flatter. Makes the road speed limits able to be faster. This road we're on right now, when this was built, it was very curvy, very narrow, lots of hills. But they've since got rid of all that stuff. We got maybe another good hour before it gets dark, so I'll keep driving this for a few more miles to show you what's up. We're almost out of fuel. We'll get fuel up here soon. Good examples coming up in the next couple of minutes of parts they cut out. All right, here comes one of the examples. When this road was first built, it would have taking a big curve to the left right here. Where is it? Because it still exists with a gate. Trying to find it. Oh, there it is. There's a couple more. They cut down all the trees on the left side of this road. I thought they were going to move it, but I guess they just wanted a bigger shoulder, less trees that could fall in the road during storms. I also wonder why areas like this, they don't just make it go straight while they're doing all the improvements. Back in the day, there's old pavement on the right side down there. It's like 8 feet below the current grade. Back in the day, it was easiest to have roads hugging rivers because it's the river's old floodplain. It's pretty flat there. But obviously, from what I just said, you can see why it would be problematic. The old road is down there on the right again. It's what that flat area is right near the river. It used to be down there. Now it's up here. It no longer hugs every single curve of the river. Still a lot of them, but not as many. It's much higher up. When they built this, they probably had no records of that river's flood patterns. Infrastructure like this really satisfying, and sometimes the abandoned sections of roads even make good hikes, good flat areas to explore. I hope they do leave the pavement at the newest abandoned section. Alright, here's another good example that they've gated off. Coming up on the left, that's the old road right there. It would have gone in there to the left where that gate is. And you're going to have to slow down, guy behind me, because I'm going to take a turn onto part of it that is still connected, just to give you a good example. Where is it? I've done it before. Okay, I missed it. Sorry, guy behind me. There's no traffic. We're going to do it now. Come on. The only traffic shows up. Yeah, there was no traffic until I wanted to show this. That guy was too close to my bumper for me to slow down and make that. But right here, this is the old road. See this? There's pavement right here. Look at that. This is the old primitive road. It was barely 2 lanes. Going right through here. There's a culvert still in place, but there would have been a bridge right there. They just put big rocks because they don't want the liability of someone trying to go across that. Pretty interesting. You see that little poof of smoke my car just made there? My car's freshly oil undercoated. So as I'm driving through the grass is grabbing some of that fresh undercoating and smearing it across the hot muffler. Yep, see, they cut the pavement right here, and the new road is actually lower than that was. Pretty cool. This year we gave oil undercoating a try, because I usually will get under there and sand and paint everything, but it's time consuming. Now if rocks and stuff chip paint on the frame, the oil will just immediately smear into it because it self-bleeds and spreads anywhere you might have missed. plus the oil I put inside the frame and everything. Okay, coming up here, we will see a few more offshoots of the old primitive road. Okay, I think the old road, I think, would have taken a sharper right. It seems flat in there. There's a few better examples of it. And these old offshoots are much more noticeable when you're in the North Country. In the South, when they do this kind of thing, you have more growing seasons, so these type of things disappear faster. They grow in quicker. But the further north you go, the longer the winter is, and there's not too much overgrowth. And right here, once again, no one's behind me, so I can slow right down. The old road used to go into here. Fishermen still use it. There's still old pavement in there, but look how narrow it is. Used to follow. Get back up onto this road. You saw where that just went in. It followed the curve of the river, and it comes out right here. I think that loop is actually drivable all the way through. It came out, and look at this. It goes back in there again. It followed every curve of the river, but now they just straightened it out. I just pointed where it went in. I think it stayed in there actually for the time being. It would still be down there by the river while this new road goes up this hill. Yeah, the old road is still down there. Still down there. They're good sections to hike and explore. And there's still a house down there that's only accessible by the old road. See this driveway right here? That just goes down to the old road. The old road is parallel next to us, and they maintain a section of that for their house. And here it comes back out. That would have been the old road coming back out. And now the current road and the old road are sharing this current path. We're right next to the river. Let's see if we can find any more. We're still hugging the river. Maybe around this next corner. Nope, still hugging the river. So this would have been the path of even the original pioneered road. And there's a swamp to the left, so it's still the best spot it could possibly be. But they've definitely improved it over the years. It was never this wide, and it probably was not so high from the river when it was original. Still a little bit of good fall colors reflecting off that perfectly still water. I don't think we're going to see any more. I think that may have been it. I think that may have been it for this road. But I find this kind of thing fascinating. There's a gas station coming up in like 5 minutes. Cutting it close today. The gas light's been running for the last half hour. And it says range 13 miles until empty. There's a gas station that's about to come up in a moment. Yep, it's slowing us down to 30 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour. We're entering town, and we're gonna get gas in a moment. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, everyone. It's starting to get dark.